Welcome to Common Sense CEO Michael Griffin. Most people know you for playing football at the University of Texas or for the Tennessee Titans, or most recently being a Cupcake guy, right?
Correct.
But my first memory of you, and apparently you don't have this one of me, but my first memory of you, I will never forget. It was my senior year of high school at Bowie High School. We're both Bulldogs here in Austin.
You're older, though, just so you know, put that out there.
What?
You're older, just so.
I am 6 months older than you, almost to the
You're a whole year older. It doesn't matter. You graduated for me. I just don't want people to see the gray and automatically assume that you say that your senior year, like I was like older or something. Yeah,
I'm just saying, my senior year, you're right. Well, and I was going to get to the point that I went to our first football scrimmage. It was on a Thursday night versus Pflugerville. So you're talking the stadium where they film Friday Night Lights and all of that. And I was sitting with one of your teammate, one of my friend's moms, and all of a sudden this running back, that's right, I said running back, comes shooting through like 30 tackles and scores a touchdown. And I looked over at my friend's mom and I said, who in the world is that kid and where did he come from? Because he wasn't on the team last year. And she goes, oh, that's one of the Griffin twins. It's the one who broke his leg last year, so he didn't get to play. Oh, yeah, that's Michael. And I was like, well, I don't know him. I don't know who he is, but I know I want to be his friend because I know he's going to be playing in the NFL one day. And so the next day at school on Friday, I walked right up to you at A-Hall and I said, hi, my name's Jamie Walker. I want to be your friend. You're going to be in the NFL one day. And you looked at me like I had 5 heads and was crazy.
Well, I'm going to say you are crazy because it wasn't Pflugerville.
Okay, where was it?
Sorry. It was Round Rock.
Oh.
To be exact.
I
had 3 touchdowns. It was my first varsity game.
There
correct.
You go.
And I got put in the newspaper the very next day, and I had the ugliest number 42.
Yep,
I remember that game.
42.
That was the reason why that was a big game for me, because the previous year I was on that same exact field, which I broke my ankle on.
Okay.
So that was why that game was very significant, because it was facing the fears of, one, playing running back again, but 2, it was the exact same location the year prior that I broke my ankle
that kept
on that
you
same
basically
field that I did not play my sophomore year. Correct.
Otherwise, you probably would have been on varsity as a sophomore, I would guess.
No, because we had guys like so I played running back, but you got to keep in mind we had Anthony Marcella, we had
Alexis Cooper would have been
Alexis
a senior,
Cooper. We had Tori. We had a lot of guys, so I was kind of like the guy that was trying to find my niche. Not to mention, my freshman year, I didn't even play running back. I actually played tight end because I was behind Justin Grady and those guys. So unfortunately, I didn't go to Bailey Middle School, so it was almost as if Bailey kept winning city at the time at the middle school level. And they pretty much had the team pretty much set, because you had Clint Harden, who was the quarterback, Justin Grady, who was the running back, Brandon Collier, who also was playing running back. And then a lot of the offensive linemen, those guys, Juan and all those guys, pretty much, Bo Gilbo and all those guys, they pretty much had a team set in stone. So my freshman year, I will say I don't feel like I really got that fair shake. And then sophomore year, I was on JV in the first game of the season. Rest in peace to Bernard Davis, a really good friend of mine who passed away from cancer. But we know each other since the second grade. So I remember him like it was yesterday when he's like, hey, it was 4th and 12. And the coach said, we need you to get a first down. Bernard's supposed to block the corner. He says, I'm going to run him off. And I'm like, Bernard, we ain't threw a pass all day today. And he runs off, but his guy that he's supposed to be blocking comes back, horse collars me, breaks my ankle in Round Rock, and then pretty much
lost your sophomore season.
Sophomore year was pretty much done for, so I had to wait a whole nother year to get my opportunity.
Improve yourself.
Definitely.
Well, I know I'm not technically the one who made any of the starting rosters, but you proved yourself to me in that first game, because I was like, I don't know who this kid is, but I know I want to be his friend. And so that was a day, I walked up to you and I said that, and you were like, looked at me like I was crazy, because I am. And then, we were friends after that. And so when I asked you what was your first memory of me, you mentioned.
I was thinking it was 2 instances. One was the pre-SAT class we had together.
Okay.
And we were in the same group, and me and you knew each other, but I didn't know anybody else in the group. And I remember like we were doing math, and I would have the answer, and like everybody had to do it. And then I remember one time you like popped me and said, damn, Mike, like if you got the answer, how about you just say it instead of having us all in a group like trying to figure it out?
Teamwork, come on.
But I was just like, I didn't know anybody. And then the other one was, well, you told me who house it was, but I remember, you know, I didn't really go to house parties. I didn't drink or anything.
You did not.
I never drank until I didn't start drinking until I was in my 30s.
I know, because I've run into you in other places, and you're right. You were.
Yeah.
Drinking.
So I remember, I don't know who, I ain't gonna say no names, but somebody was standing on a glass coffee table. And
I know someone who was on it.
Yeah. Somebody was on a glass coffee table, and it
dancing as
whatever y'all were doing as teenagers, intoxicated young kids.
What? Never.
And I was being the
responsible,
just watching and see like this is what y'all do when y'all all go out and parents are out of town. And the coffee table broke, and I remember
like thousands of pieces. Shattered.
Yes, and I remember like trying to like help clean it up. Yeah, that was. Now whose house was that though?
Her name is Lauren Hudson, and actually I might even ask her to come on the pod at some point. She is a doctor. Yeah. But so I was a good teammate. She was on my softball team.
So you broke it?
No.
You was on it though.
I was on it.
So okay.
I stepped off of it. Another girl stepped on, and then it shattered.
So
it
you call another girl bigger than you?
No, she must have just stepped on it just wrong. But what I will say is this girl was on my softball team whose house it was, and she was freaking out. And I went and found another piece of glass and helped raise the money amongst those of us who might have danced on that table that night. And we did replace it. I mean, she still got caught and got in trouble, but at least the table was intact when Mom came home. So, anyway.
I had no part to do with that.
Yes.
So,
no. Long story short, we've known each other a long time.
Correct.
Yeah. And you did end up right where I thought you would. Not necessarily in the, people don't know. Again, you were the 25-5A offensive MVP.
Uh-huh.
And people don't realize that when they see you because you played at Texas and you were not on offense. But
that's why I try to, when we ask the question on who's like the most athletic, and we had some very athletic guys that played at the University of Texas, very athletic. But I just try to throw my name in there because I'm saying a person that goes from playing pretty much 100% offense to now being able to go to University of Texas and starting at nickel by game 7. And finishing with, some good statistical numbers as a true freshman. I think that's a little bit more of a transition, a big transition, especially at that level. But I to say that you can go from one side of the ball to the other side of the ball and be able to start as a true freshman, I think that's, in my opinion, is pretty impressive.
I agree. And it's not like you were, you said you played a tight end, but it's not like you went from wide receiver to safety. That even almost translate better. But as a running back.
Yeah, and again, it was a position that when I got to Texas, I had to learn. It was just so much different of just being on a different side of the ball, understanding defensive plays, understanding just so much different nuances on things I remember just being on the offense side of the ball. Yeah. You're like, hey, follow, the guard pulls, go with the pulling guard, read your block, and then move this way. Then you go to defensive side of the ball. It's like, okay, the quarterback's not throwing you the ball. You have to guard this person, but at the same time, keep your eyes over here because if the guard pulls, you got to fit the run. And it's like, well, how do you want me to fit the run? Just run it to him. No, you got to keep your right shoulder on this pad because you got to send it. And so it was just so many different nuances of those different things. And then covering on knowing what the coverage is. We need to be outside, inside, reading, run, pass reads. There's a lot of different things at that level. And, when you talk about, I know we have some very athletic guys that were really good, but I always joke and just say, you got to put in the conversation of, if somebody can go from one side of the ball to the other side of the ball, and it's not like I grew up playing safety or whatever. I was always a running back my entire life, from little league all the way on. And then when I got to college, that's when I made the transition to safety, which my brother did start at safety as a sophomore and as a junior, and then he was the quarterback and the starting safety my senior year. So
Well, let's talk about that with your brother, right? So not only is it cool enough to, one, you're a twin, and play with him on varsity, in high school, but you did actually both end up at the University of Texas together as well. So how did that go? Because I know they came looking for you first.
Well, people don't understand. I was actually committed to Texas A&M first.
Ooh. Okay.
Well,
I know.
Being from Austin,
Right.
Everybody wanted to go to Texas, and I just wanted to do something different. So there was a movie called Sir Parker. I don't know if you ever saw that. There was a young gentleman by the name of Sir Parker that played for Texas A&M, and I remember watching this movie. You had the program, you had, Any Given Sunday, you had all these different football movies or whatever, Rudy. But I remember watching that movie, Sir Parker, and just watching him. He was a running back, and I just remember watching, because again, I played running back.
Right.
And so they had the wrecking crew at the time for Texas A&M. And I just remember the black socks, and back then he used to wear the black socks with a little bit of the white, another white sock underneath, and then the black cleats, and I just remember just like
Stuff
watching that movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I like that. Like I like that look or whatever. So R.C. Slocum, his son Sean Slocum, was recruiting me really hard. So I became very close with him, and I was pretty much sold, and I always wanted to be a veterinarian. So that was one of the things of, when you're thinking about playing football, you're not saying, for me personally, it wasn't like, I'm playing football, go to the NFL. It was like,
what will I do after?
Like, what would I do after?
Yeah.
And so Texas A&M was the school. And then when they fired R.C. Slocum going into my senior year, I was like, okay, well, this doesn't seem like it's going to work out. So then it was like I went to Texas and then talked to Mac Brown, and he told my brother he'd give him preferred walk on. My brother had offers to go to other schools, but we both decided to go to Texas together. And from that standpoint, the rest was history. We got to play alongside each other.
And then you got to give me this ring.
Yeah,
this
got one of those.
amazing ring that y'all got together. That only fits my one thumb.
January 4th, 2006.
Which was your
birthday, my
21st birthday.
So still didn't drink on my 21st birthday.
I know.
So,
well, you should have at least had some celebratory champagne.
If you remember the game, I got hurt that game. So
yeah,
my neck got jacked up. So it's got a little bulge disc in the neck.
So you have your brother with you. You're at Texas. You're enjoying everything. You're playing a lot. You're playing under Mac Brown. You have Vince Young on the team. All the things. We have this amazing. It's on the ring, by the way. 13-0. Well, at the time, it's 12-0 season. So talk about preparing to go, because obviously the dynamics of college football has changed quite a bit as far as how we do the playoff system and everything now. But back then it was like you lost one game, you were out of it.
Yeah, you were done. And so if you go back to that year, we was 12-0 at the time, and I think USC was like 30-something and 0. Like they won the past 2 seasons, and they were undefeated going into that game. So, excuse me, when you talk about just 2 dominant teams going into that game. 2 Heisman Trophy winners, 2 Thorpe Award winners, you name it, they were in that game. And then a lot of guys that played a long time in the National Football League was playing in that game, And, it was just a great game being out there in L.A. We was just there the previous year when Vince Young, who played against Michigan, and he made that unbelievable run right there at the end, which is kind of ironic because, again, it's like he finished the very next year in the same corner of the end zone. And
just could almost take the same picture.
Just that whole thing of, he yelled out, "We'll be back," and all that other stuff. And then the very next year, it was just, like, remarkable. I know we had some close calls with Kansas and some other schools. But, again, it's just hard to play perfect and be good and get up for each and every team. But when I tell you how great Vince was, how great – David Thomas, who was our tight end at the time, Jamal Charles, Ramons Taylor, because Jamal Charles was a true freshman. Ramons Taylor was in that game. Bryan Orakpo got freshman. I think he got a Big 12 Freshman of the Year on defensive side of the ball. Defense side of the ball, you had Michael Huff, Cedric Griffin, Drew Kelson, a lot of guys, Brian Robinson. I mean, you named it. There's a lot of great football players. And even on their side, Ray Magaluga, Keith Rivers, Brian Cushing.
Obviously, their offense.
Their offensive guys,
dynamite.
Reggie Bush. Shout out to Lindell White, really great player. Matt Leinart, Dwayne Jarrett. I mean, you name it. Steve Smith. I mean,
Matt Leinart, by the way, side note, probably one of the best social media follows. I ran into
he's awesome right
I
now.
ran into him actually in Omaha last summer. I didn't stop, but I saw him, and he's like the ultimate dad right now and makes the funniest posts.
He's
and I saw him in real, like I've seen him on Instagram make funny posts about his kids and his wife and all the things. And then I actually saw him in real life trying to wrangle his children in a very crowded place. And I was like, welcome to parenthood, bud.
Yeah,
like
we're
all the same. They're
he's
just
phenomenal.
like us.
And again, the things that he did, at USC. I mean, again, you talk about, it's kind of funny. You think about NIL now, and you think about all the the kids, what they're going through. I really think that team was like what was really what you would have had to be prepared for NIL. Like they was living an NIL type lifestyle.
Yeah, right.
And to be out there in LA and whatever was going on. I mean, again, a team that's 30-something and old, and you're, Reggie Bush, I think, was dating Kim Kardashian and
or whoever they wanted.
Matt Leinart probably, he's married now, but again, probably
supermodels left and right.
Whatever.
Sure.
I mean, you could just think about them just living that type of lifestyle. They had Snoop Dogg on the sideline and stuff. And
right.
So
we have Matthew. Shout out.
We had Matthew. We did. Shout out to him.
And now we have Glenn Powell. So at least for us ladies, we have some things.
I'm just saying. I can only imagine. Like you're talking about 2003 to 2006 or 7. Like they was living an NIL type lifestyle, and I think prior to that might have been like the Miami Hurricanes living an NIL type lifestyle, and now every player in college football is living an NIL.
Well, let's talk about that because I get pissed about it all the time.
About what?
The fact that we didn't get to have that life. I was a Division I college athlete, and I can promise you, not that I went to UT, but had there been social media, because it didn't show up till my junior year of college, but had we had social media and NIL, I would have worked the hell out of that. I would have made some money at least.
But you gotta look at it like this, because I look at it from a different standpoint, and the reason why is because I look at what I made playing in the National Football League, but then you look at the guys that got inducted into the Hall of Fame that are great players that played this game, but they weren't getting paid. We were getting paid, and then the guys is getting paid today.
Sure,
they're getting. So
I'm a big believer in leaving it better than you found it. 100%.
I just, you gotta just count your blessings. But I can't count nobody else's pockets. I can't.
I agree with that. But for female athletes, we have a little bit different. Like for us, college is for most sports
I totally understand. Yeah. I totally get that. I have 2 young ones right now that play, and so I totally get it. I really do.
Like I don't blame. Now I'm going to blank on it. What's her name? The basketball player. Tell me.
Clark?
Caitlin. Yeah. I don't blame her for taking obviously she knew she was going to go into at least the WNBA, but they're not getting paid obviously the same way as NBA players get paid. But female athletes right now, take advantage of every dollar you can get in NIL money, because that's where you're going to make your money.
True.
Probably also for a lot of male athletes too in college, you have this opportunity because you get hurt, you have one thing go wrong, you could lose that NFL opportunity.
I guess I asked this question to a female athlete.
Okay.
Why do you think that there's a disparity when it comes to?
Oh, I'm not ignorant to it. I grew up on the 50-yard line at every single Longhorn football game my entire life, sitting, watching those games. And I'm very aware of the fact that male sports bring in more money than
But
female
it's crazy.
sports.
So then you look at it from a male's perspective, and you look at us playing football, right? And then we look at the NBA players, and we're just like, bro.
I know.
And then we look at the baseball players, and you're like,
I get it,
bro. And then they're
playing.
And then we look at it as football players, and you're like, we're putting more on the line.
Right. Y'all are getting physically beat to hell every week.
So it's.
I get it.
But at the same time, it's like, in my opinion, the way that I approached it was, I knew what I was signing up for.
Sure.
To make it better for my kids. So now, I try to tell my daughter left and right, like, listen. You can take this a long way, but at the same time, use it to put yourself in other situations to help yourself in the future.
Yeah.
And so
and I think that's what people maybe don't know about you is to go back to the whole, pre-SAT class, you're a pretty intelligent person. You don't get enough credit for that. You could have gone A&M and been a veterinarian easily. I'm a financial advisor, and so technically this podcast should speak to finances a little bit. You, unlike many, many people who've gone to the NFL, have done a very good job of not losing all of your money. Mm-hmm. And so what would you say has set you, what did somebody warn you of that or keep you from doing that? Was it more your own perspective? Like, what kept you from being the guy who's buying everyone in their family a cell phone?
Culture. I would say the culture. And I say culture is, it doesn't matter race or anything in that nature. I would say it's just the culture, the background, where I came from. I had a mom, dad, both married for, don't have me lying, 40 plus something years, who came from minimal, and they had to build their brand, build themselves, and they was able to pass that on and that knowledge on to me and my brother. But you also got to look at it that when you look at the National Football League, or if you look in the NBA, you look at the players and what's representing those leads, a lot of times that you will see that they don't have that support system. And sometimes they're that first generation who experiences wealth. Even when you look at the NIL and stuff, you see a lot of these young men that are going to these big institutions and things. And again, I just heard the other day about the agents that work for college kids and the percentage that they're getting for these NIL deals compared to the percentage that they're getting when it comes to the contracts that they get in the National Football League. So again, you could say this to any kid. I don't care unless somebody's showing them and teaching. But if I go to a kid and I say, "Hey, I'm gonna give you $100, or I'm gonna give you 200, 1,000, whatever," they're excited,
sure,
And so I think, to me, I say money's the root of all evil because it's like a drug. It's an addiction.
Oh, for sure.
And so, and a lot of times people don't understand, as fast as you're getting, as fast as you can spend it. And so, and a lot of people deal with, and I always had this thing where I personally would ask myself, do I just want it or do I need it? And there's a difference between I want and I need. And
when
so,
you were going to buy something, you mean?
Yeah, like do I need it? Because I tell people all the time, like even like I had a conversation with a bunch of kids yesterday, and they were like, and I'm telling them like, you play football at the University of Texas, or you play football at Texas A&M, or any of these big institutions, why are y'all buying a car? People would just give you a car.
Right.
Like, why? Like, use your platform to go out and market yourself and go get it, because people are, and that's what I did when I played in the National Football League. I wasn't buying cars. I was driving a car that I was getting, that they was giving me to.
Right. They wanted you to be seen in their car.
And so that was the biggest thing of just realize how much leverage and how much power you actually have playing at these big institutions and things, because there's fans.
They're crazy.
They're crazy over
and it is a cult, right? I say all the time, there are some schools, I almost feel like the SEC should be built of only the cult-like schools, because there's a couple in the SEC that I think could go away and no one would notice. But then there's like if you had Michigan, Notre Dame, USC, and then a lot of the schools that are in the SEC. Texas, in my opinion, has always been pretty cult-like. There's a reason why we make the most money out of any school, right? Is we have a huge fan base and we are committed. And those fans, it doesn't matter if you're a, hockey player, soccer player, football player, you could play freaking badminton. But if you're going to UT, there's some, regent or fan or someone somewhere willing to give you something just because you walk in those doors every day.
That's crazy. But I think it's at almost pretty much every school. Like, there's people, you just have to figure it out.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to get up off your tail and stop being so lazy and everything's being given. You know how it is being a college athlete. Like, everything's just given to you.
Right.
But sometimes you just, you can go to Google and be like, what?
Who graduated from here and owns a business around here.
Like,
and
that's all you have to do.
Right.
And you will find it. It's that simple.
Right.
You just have, it's funny because you'll see kids today have phones in their hands 24/7.
But they're not looking up the right stuff ever.
Nothing. All they're doing is looking up TikTok, they're looking up Snapchat, and they looking up Instagram. That's all they're doing with it. But it's like, hey, like my son would do this a lot of times, or my daughter asked me, hey, where's X, Y, and Z at? And you'd be like, you got it in your hand. What are we talking about?
Look it up.
Like, look it up.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Right.
I mean, so,
that's a big thing too. I always say is like, are you using it? There's two ways you can use it: as a tool or as a drug, a waste of time, be addicted to it, and all those things. To your point, it's not that TikTok's bad or Instagram's bad or any social media is bad, but how are you choosing to use it?
No question.
If you're just sitting and scrolling aimlessly, you're wasting everyone's time. But what you could be doing is putting your name, putting your your person out there to be found by all those businesses like you're talking about. And if they see that, then that's how you make your money.
So
use it for good, just like anything.
Like right now, I need my grill to be clean on my back patio, and all I did was just search the little search engine, and I found somebody. That's quick. Right. And it was even crazy because he knew who I was. At played at Texas, and he's like, "Hey, when you need me to put in," I'm like, "Oh, cool, bet, let's do this."
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like that's all I did. I didn't do nothing crazy. I just searched it, found it, followed it, sent a message. He responded back, and we already scheduled it.
So your parenting style is not do everything for them.
No, not at all. You could fall on your head. I don't care. That's on you.
You got to learn.
For me, I tell my kids all the time, I can lead you to war. I can't force you to drink it.
Right.
So I could put you in all the right situations. I can put you in front of, hypothetically speaking, last night I went to a draft party. Shout out to Jade Barron. I went to his draft party, got drafted number 20. So I'm there, right? You got another coach that's coaching at a university that's right there. I have my child and other kids that are right there that are college players, that are not high school players now.
That want to go play in college.
Want to play college. My question is, how many do you think them got off their damn phone and went over there and shook this man's hand?
Right.
Zero.
You mean they didn't walk up to him and say, "I know you're going to be in the NFL one day. I want to be your friend," like I did?
No, how many walked up to this young man, who's now the head coach? Keep in mind now, he didn't coach players right now in the National Football League. Sean Merriman, shout out to him, is at Sac State right now. But he's coached players right now. Xavier Worthy. He coached players right now that was first-round wide receivers. Not to mention, he was a heck of a wide receiver when he played. He was the offensive coordinator last year for UNLV. Now he's the head coach. He was a wide receiver coach at the University of Texas briefly for a moment. He's been making stops and building his way up to the top. My question is, I looked at all these kids that play either collegiate football or either play high school football that is sitting right there that says they want to be Jade Barron. And I saw nobody go over and shake their hand and just shoot their shot.
Right. Yeah,
because they all doing
the
this.
Worst thing they could say is not interested, and guess what? You're in the exact same place you were before you asked. But
nobody did it though.
Right.
Nobody. And I just sat there and just.
Cool. So you get in the car with your son after something like that. What do you say to him?
Hey man, that's you. You want to let stuff pass by? That's cool.
Yeah.
I did it.
Right.
I don't have to do it. Right. I did it.
Right. Yeah, that's my thing. Right. I coach softball now.
I can only imagine you as a coach.
What? Why? Oh, hold on. Side note, why? What do you mean imagine what? Good, bad?
Oh, definitely like yelling.
Like mean?
I mean, it comes
Kevin's louder sometimes, actually. We coach together and we're still married, but I don't know.
I know y'all butt heads all day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he
says you take like a vacation like once a year to like Disney.
That was last year. That was the year of Jamie. That's a whole other episode.
He said you go to Disney.
That was
once
last year. Nope. Now I'm not vacationing because I'm coaching softball. But I say this all the time. We come across other teams and coaches, and you probably have seen this because I know you coached your daughter's flag football team. A perfect example. Clearly, these other adults, they didn't do it. They never did it. They never got the ring. They never made it to that next level. And you can see there's a difference between being out there and trying to make kids better and developing kids and an adult who's dying to win a ring because they never did as a kid.
Yeah, you see people all the time live their life to their kids. But they won't acknowledge it though.
Oh, no. But what I'm saying for what you're saying, how you're saying, hey, I did it. It's up to you. Talk about the regret these kids will have one day. And their only option now is to try to get it. So that's what I love is, like you said, you did it. You're not pushing your son to do it. If he wants it, he's got to go do it.
I tell my two oldest, my youngest one, she's 8, and I'm still with her. Like
we don't even know what she's gonna do one day.
Don't know what she wants to do. But I tell my kids all the time, just quit.
Right.
And they're like, "What do you mean? Just quit."
Because you don't want it.
Because you can't tell me that you want something that I've done and I played at a high level, and I'm watching you. Like I'm watching what you're doing.
And it's not what it takes.
I can sign you up for whatever.
Right.
I can take you wherever. I can put you with the right coaches. I could do every single thing. But when I sit there and I watch you got free time, and I send you videos, because I know y'all stay on Instagram all day.
Right.
So I show you videos of
That's
people.
Where we'll communicate.
But literally, I will send you a video of, hey, watch this guy right here, or watch this extra work he's doing. Hey, watch this. My daughter plays soccer. Watch this. Watch this extra work she's doing. Watch this. Watch that. Watch that. And I sit there and see. I laugh at my brother and my mom. I said, they just put a heart on it just for me to say, hey, Dad, shut up and leave me alone.
Yeah, right.
Like, I know you're not. I know, because then I watch it.
Right.
We got turf in the backyard. You want to play basketball? Cool. We got a basketball going in the backyard. You want to lift weights? Cool. We got a gym with an air conditioning unit in one of the garage that's climate control.
Right.
No excuse. You have no excuse. We have a golf cart. You want to go down to go, play soccer. You want to go do extra work or whatever. You can take the golf cart. Hey, son, you drive. You can go wherever you want to go. If I have to tell you what to do,
right, then you don't want it. Right. Agreed.
And I sit there and I take you to a football camp, or I take you to soccer games, and I say, look around. Everything that you want to do, everybody wants to do.
Right.
The question is, you're not just competing against that man across from you. You're competing against everybody that plays, whether they play on Thursday night in a high school game, or they play on a Friday night in a high school game, or whether they got a Saturday game, or if you play any other sports and you ain't playing on a Tuesday.
Right.
You're competing against each and every one of them each and every day. And if you don't understand that, that's on you.
Right.
And I'm telling you this because I know what it takes.
And being your kid, they have more access to any of it.
I could put you in front of a coach. I can sit there and do everything you want.
Right.
Look at you. What you gonna do now?
Right.
What are you gonna do? I can't do it. So, but I see it, and I talk to parents and everything else. And sometimes I'm like, have y'all ever asked yourselves, do y'all kids really want it?
Right. Well, and that's, coaching, there are times where I see, not so on our team some, but on other teams for sure, I watch these parents who are coaching freaking out. And I'm like, your kid doesn't want to be here, right? You can see it in her face or his face or whatever. Like, they have zero desire to be here. You are forcing them to be here.
Yeah, but that's, and then I said, sometimes it's crazy because I say it because this day and age, and I get it. This day and age, everybody believes their kid, when little Tommy, little Timmy, little Sally, or whatever it is, they believe when they had that little baby, that dad who probably has never played. And this is because my dad didn't, he said he played basketball. I don't even know. I never know. He's in the military. Yeah. My mom says she ran track. She showed me a medal. I don't know, whatever.
Right.
But
it stands to reason they're athletic. They have two very athletic children. But
I'm saying this because I'm saying that when they had that look, man, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and now you got them, and now you're like, oh, I got him dribbling the ball, I got him swinging a baseball bat, I got him doing this, I got him doing this, I got him doing this. I'll tell you this, my son plays football right now, Lake Travis. If they ask me when he started playing football, he didn't start playing football till the 6th grade. Right. Wanna know why? Because he didn't want to do it. I never forced him to do it. The day he said he wanted to play football, I said, why? Hopefully it's not because you think I want you to do it. Right. And he said no. Guess what? It was his friends that were playing. Right. So he wanted to go play with his friends. Right. Cool. Bingo. But then when I take you out there, wait, you about to kill yourself, son. You don't know what you're doing. Right. So now I got to start showing you the way. But now as you're progressing, you're getting older, I'm saying, what do you want to do? Because now you're at the age I got to tell you the truth. Right. Now you ain't played football till 6th grade. You're going to high school in 3 years. You're behind. Right. So now you got to do the extra work to catch up to the little kids that's been playing forever. So now you catch up. Now, okay, you're there. You're starting. You're playing on a good football team. Question is it you or is it the team? Because the team's been winning before you even got there. Right. So now what are you doing? To add to it. To add to it. What are you doing to make yourself a better player, to make the team better? Sure. Cool. Now you got to work out. You do your thing. Now, I give him credit. He does a lot of great things or whatever. I give him credit for what he does. I really do. But at the same time, do I think he can do more? Yeah, I always think you can do some more. And that's just my personal opinion. Right. Can you? Will you? Whatever. That's on you.
Right.
But do I think you do more? Yes. My daughter, fantastic athlete, God-given ability, bigger than everybody, 5'9.5", almost 5'10".
She's the same age as my son, and she towers over him.
And she's the biggest player out there.
Right.
Now, the question,
she played middle school football, by the way, and like
middle school football
broke
broke her school
Right.
record and broke the middle school
like the
record.
boys were afraid of her, not because she was a girl, but because she was a beast. Yeah.
But broke the shot put record at middle school, broke the high school record as a true freshman.
Right. Crazy. I saw
now,
that.
Lake Travis has been around God knows how long, but you already broke the record of shot put, and you're only a freshman. So you're probably going to keep breaking your own. And you broke your record, and you broke your record again the very next week.
Right.
And now next year, when you missed state by 1 inch.
Yeah.
So now you're like, okay, now what? Are you satisfied? Are you cool with that? Now what?
Right.
You made it to state as a true freshman. Cool. Now what? You're okay with that. Now, or do you want to keep working? Do you like that feeling? You cried after your state game. Cool. Now, me personally, you cried after your state game. It's been over a week, and I'm looking at you.
Nothing's changed.
What are you doing now?
Yeah.
Nothing?
Right.
You went to one soccer practice with your select team. You didn't go the other day. You didn't go get on the treadmill,
Practice
go run none.
is the bare minimum,
You didn't go do no ladder work. You didn't do no hill sprints. You didn't get no touches on the ball. You didn't do nothing? Gotcha. Case closed.
Right.
So don't cry next time. Because she was crying after the game. Everybody looked at me.
Right.
You not going to Coca-Cola? For what?
Right. She's sad they lost? Is that what the cry?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we don't know yet.
It looks good.
Right.
Everybody was crying.
Upset. Oh, okay.
It looked great.
Yeah.
Let me just blend in with everybody else.
Sure.
But then behind closed doors, my question is, what are you doing?
Well, but also she will just blend in with everyone else, right? If you don't do more.
Yeah. So my question is, you're crying because everybody else is crying, but then you said you really want to win. But now I'm watching and saying, what are you doing to get better now?
Right.
It's a week past.
Right.
2 weeks past, really.
Right.
Because the very next week you want to go throw shot put, and so it's 2 weeks since your state championship game.
Right.
Cool, great. I remember after every game when I played in the National Football League, I would play Sunday. I would go home and rewatch my game.
Right away.
I'm not watching the good plays.
Right.
I'm watching the negative plays to say what could I do different. Then the next day, when the whole team left, I'm on the field practicing, whether it was I missed a tackle, whether it was I took a bad angle, whatever it was, I was practicing that the very next day by myself.
And I think that's huge, not just that you did it, but you're practicing the things that no one else is practicing, right? Like I even say that with baseball and softball. People are like, oh, okay, I'll go hit. Oh, my coach says I should do more, so I'll just go hit on my own in the garage. Well, just swinging a bat wrong half the time, 100 times doesn't make you better. So to your point, think about those things that are different, right? Like look at where you are looking at not the good plays, but the bad plays. Okay. And you weren't looking at, ooh, that ball hit my hands and I dropped it. So let me go take, 30 passes and work on that or whatever else. But you're looking at things like angles and missed tackles and it's the small little details that if you're not willing to really take a look and examine, there's no way you're going to be better than everyone else.
Not at all.
Because doing those little things over and over and over are what actually make big things happen.
And literally in the off season, when I used to come back to Austin, I would train with the trainer. Mm-hmm. We would lift weights. I would leave there, go eat lunch, and then go to Lifetime and lift again.
Right.
And that was my routine all off season.
Right.
And that's why when I look at my kids or when I'm looking at anybody and they're telling me, I'm like, what I did to get to where I got to.
And stay where you were. Are you still the longest standing Tennessee Titan? Because when you were there.
Maybe. Still.
You were at like year
I was
what?
there 9 years, but I think no one's got up to 9 yet.
Right.
I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not for sure.
And that's huge to be able to not only stay in the NFL that long, but stay on one team that long because you were always doing the little things and the things right. They didn't want to lose you. They didn't want you
that's why so you go back to what we said earlier about parents and stuff. It's like, ask your kids, is this something they really want to do?
And then make them prove it.
Because it's you can sign them up for everything you want to sign them up for. And a lot of times that's the easiest thing to do is I go somewhere and somebody tells me what to do. But I ask myself sometimes, if I tell you, all right, listen, every time you come, your kids is whatever, every time I'm the coach, your kids come to me, we do cone drills, we do ladder work, and then we do some type of conditioning test, right? If I do this every Monday, so next Monday, practice is canceled. So your kid decides, I ain't doing nothing. Practice is canceled.
Right.
But you seen the drill.
Right. You know exactly what they should be doing.
And over and over. Why can't you just do it? Mm-hmm. Why? Because he said it's canceled, you don't want to do it. Or you just don't do it. Right. Oh, well, since I ain't got a practice day, can I go to the movies with X, Y, and Z? All right, cool.
You can.
Great. You can?
Yeah, you can.
So with my kids, okay, go do what you want to do. Mm-hmm. Then when the game come and you mad and you upset because something don't go. I remember one time this happened, no BS. Son's freshman year. I remember this happened.
Freshman year, he was at Bowie.
At Bowie.
Okay.
This happened, no BS. We're watching film. We was watching Westlake to be exact. They had to play Westlake, and he just came off his collarbone. So he broke his collarbone first game of the season. He's coming back, gets to play. So we're going over the film. I'm telling him everything. I'm telling him the alignments. See this, see that. I'm telling him everything. I look at him at the kitchen table and I say, you're not going to write this down? And he's like, nah, I can remember it. That game came. He looked like a chicken with his head cut off.
I was going to say.
Didn't know what happened. Mm-hmm. Now he learns. So we go into past season versus Westlake. Hey, son, when you see this, just go. Huh? Just go. They line up in the formation. I said, oh, you better get the interception now. Here it comes. Mm-hmm. He makes the interception. I said, now, what, was I right? Like, when I look at the game, especially in high school, you only get so many hours with your team.
Right.
There's only so many plays. Nothing against high school football coaches, nothing. But there's only so much.
They're very limited.
They're very limited.
Right.
Not to mention, a lot of these coaches still have, teacher class and still got a bunch of other things going. Right. So there's only so much that you can do. A lot of times it's almost like the most well-coached team that just does everything right normally just wins. It's not the team that has the most athletes.
Sure.
It's the team that everybody plays together as a team. So when I'm like watching the film and I'm like, okay, he did this game, cool, go to the next game. Oh, he did it again. Oh, his line's true. Hey, son, when you see this, go.
Right, every time this
happens.
So
it's like, and then the very next game, oh, they try to change something around. When you see him do this comes. That time he didn't listen. Got beat on the deep ball. I said, bruh, you just forgot about it. But normally he writes it down. He didn't want to write it down. So it's like those little things that's like, I can put you in the right position.
Right. I can even give you the answer, but it's up to you to implement it.
It's up to you.
Right. Right. How do you feel about the parents? A lot of people say, oh, coaches love multi-sport athletes. I
love that too.
Yeah. Your daughter does track. She does soccer.
I think the sport chooses the player.
Yeah.
I don't think the player chooses the sport.
So at what point, though, because they say that, but then once you're getting into high school and surely college, most coaches, they say, we liked that you did all these sports, but obviously now we want you to focus on this one sport because we're going to give you a scholarship or whatever else. When do you think that starts to kind of shake out?
The thing I don't like is, and I'm going to be honest, the thing I don't like about, especially in high school sports, is that I feel like if all y'all work under the same damn building, excuse my language, why y'all can't work together? Why is it impossible for y'all to work together? Hey, listen, we in the middle of football season, but you want to play basketball. Listen, let's just focus on football right now, but then we're going to transition. Hey, on such and such day, I'm gonna let you go in there and get some shots up and do some things, whatever. Just be cautious. No scrimmaging because I don't want him to tweak his back or something or whatever. Or you play baseball, but you playing basketball, you running track. Hey, cool, you know what? Why we can't work together?
I don't know. My son wanted to play golf as a freshman, and the baseball coach was willing to be pretty accommodating. He said, on the days that y'all have to go to the course and score, so if you're going to get to play, because that's how it works, right? Is there's one day a week, they go play the course, and the best 3 scores, those kids get to go play that weekend or that Friday. And he said, on those days, I'll let you leave baseball class early. If your parents will take you over to the course, you go do that, no problem. The golf coach pulls him into his office and says, are you a baseball player or a golfer? And he's
Both.
Like,
how many baseball players play golf?
A lot of them.
So
a lot of them. And that's what he said.
That?
And he was like, well, are you a golfer first or a baseball player first? He said, well, coach, I want to be a baseball player.
Well, I'm 15. I don't know.
That's right.
And I'm a kid. Why are you even asking me that
question?
And
so it was the golf coach who basically did not allow. He's like, well, you're not, and this is not true, by the way, at all. My son's been playing golf since he was 3. Like, he's not going to go to the PGA tour next week by any means, but we have a golf hole in our backyard. He plays a ton of golf. And the coach said, well, you're not much better than the other kids on JV, and I don't want to deal with parents complaining since you're not in the class. So I don't want to waste anyone's time. That was his response.
See,
now you're keeping a kid from competing who probably, by the way, would make your team better, at least all fall long while he can play.
I hate that because, again, you're making kids specialize in things. And we all know the body is developing. Mm-hmm. What I look like right now when I left high school is not the same. I was 170 pounds. Yeah. I'm 220 pounds right now.
Right.
My last game in the league, I was 228 pounds. My first game in the league, I was 200. My last game in college, I was 183.
Right.
Nutrition, everything, as you get older, your body starts changing, everything happens. So for me, I hate that because you don't know the body. You don't know what the body is going to do. Right. You don't know. You've seen some kids are late bloomers, some kids are early bloomers. And that's
what we are very excited in our house about, the new rule where you can go 2 years of junior college and it doesn't hurt your 4 years of eligibility. That is great for a kid like mine and for female athletes. One, because now females get 2 more years to play because, like I said, most of us don't go pro. But 2, for a kid like mine who will grow until he's 20, because he's a smaller kid. They've told us since he was 3 years old at the doctor, he'll be that kid that he's always going up, but it's on a slower trajectory because he won't stop at 15 like most kids. He'll keep going till he's 20. Well, great. So now if he can go play 2 years of JUCO, not hurt his other 4 years, and now that's where a lot of coaches are going to be looking, right? Wouldn't you rather have the kids who have played a year or 2 under their belt and aren't scared to leave mommy and daddy, when it comes to baseball at least?
See, me personally, I want the raw kid.
Yeah.
I don't want the kid that's just so polished up, because to me personally, the kid that is so polished and he's just so he's just been playing a sport his whole entire life and just everything is just, he's maxed out.
Well, it's funny in baseball how you see these kids, because they're bigger at 12, 13, they've always been on the top teams because they were bigger, That's all they cared about. They were bigger. So like with my kid, I told him, I was like, you're going to have to work your ass off your whole life.
Yeah. Like
harder than anyone. And it's not going to be fair, and it's going to be frustrating, and you're going to have to do more than, Bobby, because Bobby's 4 inches taller than you and just a bigger kid. And now we're getting into high school, and these kids who in baseball, they call it AA, AAA, and majors. All these kids who are always majors kids, they've stopped growing. They hit their growth, spurt and peak at 12, 13, 14. They're right where they're going to always be now. And guess what? They never had to work hard. So all of a sudden it's catching up, because they never had to put in the extra hours, the extra reps, the extra whatever. And here come the little kids who had to work their ass off their whole life just to get any playing time. And now they know what hard work looks like, and they're still willing to work hard. And now they're getting in the weight room with the trainers, and they're getting
But see, that was me though, because I wasn't the one that came in to Bowie.
Right, you said you weren't the Bailey Bear.
I didn't go to Bailey. I wasn't this like. It was like, dude, I can play. Like, it didn't matter. Just give me the damn ball.
Right.
I wasn't built like the Anthony Michelle. I wasn't built like Tori. I wasn't built like Alexis. I wasn't built like them.
Right.
I ain't touched no damn weights.
Right.
I wasn't built like them. But I'm like, I can do what they can do.
Right.
I'm just not built like them.
Right.
And so nothing against it. It's just, in my opinion, but it was also, you go back to it, they all only played football. All they played was football.
Right. So they should be built for it, because that's all
you were literally specialized in one sport.
Right.
That was it.
What'd you play in high school?
I played basketball, ran track. I played soccer my entire life.
Yeah.
I played football. Like, I played so many sports. I played baseball. I played so many sports.
Right.
That it was.
That's why when you say I switched to the other side of the ball,
Because I always had to know. Like when I played baseball, I was a catcher and I also was an outfield.
Right.
But then when I played soccer, I played goalie, but I also was a forward.
Right.
When I played basketball, they had me playing. I was a great defender, really couldn't shoot, but I can jump out of this world.
What about pickleball? I hear you're a killer pickleball player.
Animal.
Animal on the pickleball court.
And then just playing sports in general. Like I was able to adapt. Right. And I didn't specialize in nothing.
Right.
So when it came to like the body developing, when the body starts developing and it gets used to using muscles at a certain way in a certain position all the time, as soon as the body gets put in a different position, it lets go. Mm-hmm. And that's when you start seeing all the injuries come. Mm-hmm. Like I have never, knock on wood, but I've seen so many ACL tears to these young girls that are playing volleyball, that are playing soccer. And it's like, that's all they do. Mm-hmm. Basketball, you're just like.
You're going to wear it out. Yeah.
And then you're watching the way their body is. You watch how they develop. You're seeing their motions. You're like, oh, that person made one false move any direction. There, she's done. Mm-hmm. And it's just you're starting to see, like I see it so much in these younger kids. And then you watch professionals, the ones that go a long way with it, and you watch, like, I think the other day they showed Arch Manning playing like basketball or something, mm-hmm. and you're like, no one knew. Like, dude can jump out the gym and can dunk and do all this crazy stuff, but it's like he's not specializing. Yeah, yeah. You see a lot of these other players that are doing so.
And then when people see it, they're like, oh my gosh, he can do that. You're like, yeah. Because he's an athlete. He's an
athlete,
yeah.
But
he's not a football player. He's an athlete.
So that's why I hate that these coaches are trying to make these kids specialize, and parents that try to specialize their kids in a sport just so early because it's something that they love or something that they feel like, oh.
Trust me, I wish my kids would pick an indoor sport. It's hot as hell here, and I'm outside all the time. I'm like, don't you want to try volleyball? Like, sounds like, I can handle that. I could handle volleyball.
But no, I hate it. But I feel like these coaches should definitely work together on allowing these kids to be able to play multiple sports. And the crazy part is if the objective is to win,
why wouldn't you want the best kids?
Why wouldn't I want the best kids playing, especially these smaller schools?
Well, that's what I thought was crazy with that coach. And I was like, I can assure you, like the one kid that's on your team now instead of him, I took him to Topgolf the first time he ever swung a golf club, and I can promise you my son is a better golfer. But, okay, he didn't want to deal with parents. That's what it came down to. And I get it, because as the director of an organization, I deal with parents all the time. And I think we can all agree.
Are you one of those parents?
No, I don't have to be. But again, it's because when you've done it or you've been there, right? Yeah. Like you have a better understanding of what's going on. So, for me, my biggest thing anywhere my kids play, whether it's under me or someone else, is coaching. Mm. Like, I know, because what we do outside of practice, I know what my kid's getting, with the extra hitting and the extra weightlifting and the extra But when he has, 3 to 6 hours with you a week to be coached, I need someone who's actually going to teach them something, not just a babysitter or whatever. That's my big thing is I think coaching matters a lot.
Definitely.
Especially when they're younger and learning basic fundamentals, and not coaching to win, coaching to develop. Because if you coach to develop, the winning is a byproduct of that.
True.
Yeah. So that's my big thing. And the only time you really will ever hear me complain as a parent is if the coaching is lacking. So
I get that. I get that.
But, well, okay. So I have a question for you. What's your craziest college story, football or non-football? Like the craziest thing that happened or the craziest thing you experienced that you can tell without getting anyone in trouble. You don't have to use names if it would get anyone in trouble.
Oh man, so crazy story, right? Had a 2-door Explorer. What I got in high school, and went out. Didn't drink. Went out though, right? So we go out, and if you go downtown 6th Street or whatever, you have all the parking garages and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, hang with all the guys, being done, whatever. I make a turn too tight into the parking garage. scraped the whole side of my car going into the parking garage before we even get out. So everybody's like, oh, like what do we do? I said, guys, F it. It's already happened. Keep the party going. So the next day, we had a lot of construction going on campus, and I parked the car next to like one of the construction sites, and was like, called the insurance company and was like, I don't know what, got a police report and everything. It's like, I don't know what happened. Like
this construction company hit my car.
I think one of these trucks or something must have hit my car or something trying to pull into the construction site. So I remember I told my mom the truth years later because she was so mad because I was still on her insurance. But she was so hot. And I was like, yeah. And then finally I told her, Mom, I ain't gonna lie. We went out and
I can't drive.
Yeah.
I'm not a very good parker.
Another time.
Or turner inner.
I'll say another time. I remember, right after the national championship game. We get pulled over. And I thought for sure we was all gonna get tickets. We were going to jail. And
you pulled the ring out. No, you didn't have it yet.
Nah, we all just, me, my brother, another guy named Eric Jackson, we just all lied and was like, we just like what we were doing. We were literally coming back from Texas State, hanging out there, and then we was coming down because, Texas State around the square closes early. So we came back and we was just like, hey, we just started name dropping, like lied about what our names were, and the cop was like diehard Texas fans. And we were just like, he just like, okay, listen, y'all just
be careful, boys.
Y'all just be careful.
Yeah.
I understand. Congratulations on y'all's big win. But yeah, we were living lives like we were. Yeah.
I bet. I mean, I would have name dropped for sure if I got pulled over and had just won a national championship.
But we had sure. That might have been.
I'd have been like, remember the interception? That was me.
Yeah, I ain't want to say that though. I wanted somebody else's name.
That was my brother.
Yeah, I wanted to use somebody else. That might have been like, the biggest one might have been like me tearing my car, like the whole side up, and then just filing a police report and blaming it on the
construction guys.
Did the police not ever question that?
Yeah.
Nah, because it looked like, because the side of it was, the side of it looked like an actual cement truck. So it was like, I can see.
Yeah, that's definitely what happened.
I had to pay my deductible. We good though.
Okay, so last thing maybe regarding because you said you talked to some of these kids were, I guess, were your son's friends, but these kids who have
I ain't have no son that old. Come on now, don't do that.
Well, but kids that are gonna go into college,
gotcha,
and have access to this NIL money, which the only, in my opinion, crazy part, which it already happened in some professional sports anyway, but giving 18-year-olds potentially a lot of money. And like you said, in some of these families, it's the first generation they've seen any dollar amount like this. What would be your top 3 things to consider and advice as far as, being responsible or because you've done, like I said, a very good job with your money, but it sounds like you had the culture you were raised in was such, and some of these kids have not been. So what wisdom could you impart on them?
See, it's hard because you got to also understand, though, you can give them advice.
Oh, yeah. They may not take it.
But you got to understand that, again, I'm giving an 18-year-old money, but he has his mom and dad and brother and sister that are pulling him this way. And it's hard, and I'm saying this is because the mental capacity of an 18-year-old kid, I'm gonna say kid because we're not really adults until we're like mid to late 20s. I'm just gonna be honest with that. So the mental capacity of that child, especially knowing that mother or that father can still manipulate them into whatever so-called they can drive them what direction they want to drive them to. So that's the hardest part. But I mean, I would say as first and foremost, you just understand the difference between I want and I need. That's number 1. Number 2, you got to learn financial literacy. So I would definitely see and seek out with the school, whether it's your coach whoever you trust, somebody to figure out, hey, listen, I'm getting this money. What should I do? How should I handle this? What put me in the right direction, whether it's a financial advisor or something to help me manage this type of money.
Right.
So that would be number 2. And number 3, I think number 2 would be the biggest thing is trying to find somebody outside of family.
Right, that you can trust. Well, that's what I do for a living.
That's what I would say. But I would definitely, getting this money, I will go to whoever I need to talk to. Because your head coach got somebody that manages his money. So
well, and you're not wrong with the parent thing, and I think that's the biggest thing in some of the conversations I've had with clients and some of these kids who are in these situations is I want your parents in the room because this is going to be a family. The family is going to be wealthier, whether you decide to give it to them or not. It will change the family dynamic.
Definitely.
And we are really big in our practice on educating the family. So to your point, if this kid is the first generation to ever see this kind of money, their parents have never had education on it. You have to get your hands on those parents. So, because sometimes I don't think they even mean to drag their kids down. They just don't know better.
That's why I said I don't think it's intentional.
Right.
I think it's just it's something. Again, it happens so quick.
Right.
It's like winning the lottery or something.
Overnight.
Like it happens
That's right.
so quick. Like life, is it life changing? It can be, or it can be a brief change.
Right.
It can be either one, but it's all about how. Again, it's managing it, and that's the biggest thing is managing it, and I think that's where, I like the NIL, but at the same time,
there needs to be some protection.
There needs to
around
be
the kids.
somewhat, yes, because they're kids.
Right. They are kids, and they do still want to make mom and dad happy.
No question.
And it's like, okay, I did what I was supposed to do. They knew, from a young age, I was going to be their meal ticket, but it's like, okay, but you're the 18-year-old. You're the one putting your body in this position. You're the one, we talked about the difference between being a football player. Let's just say a football player. You're the one going through all this. You're the one putting in the work. You're the one getting your butt kicked every week. Your parents are thinking, some parents think, okay, well, I put you in this position, so I deserve this.
Exactly.
And that's not necessarily the case. It doesn't mean you can't help them, but that's why I think educating everyone in the family is so important, because they need to understand if they mismanage the access they're given, then they all end up right back where they were, if not worse.
No question.
Yeah. So that's good. I'm glad that you feel the same way. And then as far as, being a dad, I know we talked about 2 of your 3 kids because, the 8-year-old we don't know yet. But so your son, football is his dream, he says, as of right now?
Football is his dream, correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then your daughter is soccer and maybe shot put. That kind of just showed up.
Honestly, and again, I say because he's 15. No, he's 16 and she's 14. Like, you got so much life ahead of you. You know what I mean? And I always say, because I've been in the situation and I've seen it, you don't know what the future may bring. So with that being said, that's what he wants to do, and I'm there to help support their dreams or whatever. That's my job. But at the same time, it's just for me, I like to be realistic, and it's like, hey, listen, I know what you want to do, but at the same time, for me being a father, you may not want to hear it, you may hate it or whatever, but I gotta keep pushing you. Say, if you say this is what you want to do, I gotta push you there,
right?
Because that's my job. I'm not here to be. I tell them all, I'm not your friend.
No,
I ain't your friend. So I'm only doing X, Y, and Z because that's what you say you want to do.
Right.
And so that's where it gets tough.
I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, listen, if you don't want this and want to put in the work, I have so many other things I could be doing with my time.
Disney World.
Yeah, I'd be at Disney World. I'd be golfing myself. I actually haven't been to Disney World in like over a year.
Yeah.
But
when was the last time you went to Disney World?
She's going next week.
I am going in October for work. The last time I went to Disney World.
You went to Arizona. When did you go to Arizona?
Oh, I'm leaving on Tuesday for Arizona. But that's for work. I'm actually going to be in Arizona most of May. I don't think I'm even in my house.
I'm going to ask Kevin.
It's for work.
What you're doing.
Well, okay, so you say this. Set yourself up for something beyond football or soccer or whatnot. Let's talk about you. So, you know, a lot of people remember you and Bryan, and that's what's funny to me too, is you have your brother, but a lot of people almost probably think Bryan is your brother at this point because y'all do so much together. Are y'all still doing the cupcake business?
We still got the Cupcakes. So that's Bryan and Bryan Hynson.
Yeah,
so
Bryan and
Bryan Orakpo and Bryan Hynson. We're all college. We're all in college together.
Yep.
We met Bryan Hynson through another one of our teammates, Rashad Bobino. But actually, I met Bryan Hynson through my brother. He was at my brother's wedding.
Oh.
And that's when we became really close after that. Because my brother was living in Dallas. So I kind of replaced my brother when it came to the relationship of them being their friendship.
Okay.
But, we got into it just to learn business. You know, a lot of times when you're in NFL, they have different classes, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you want to get into coaching, whether you want to get into
That's interesting. They provide you with that?
They do, because they basically, I mean, in my opinion, they pretty much say, hey, listen, you could do broadcasting because you know sports. You should be able to be an entrepreneur because we're giving you a large lump sum of money very quickly. And then we also say you be a coach because, again, you know sports. So they kind of just navigate you in those three different avenues.
That's good to know. I never knew they helped
But for us, it was more of like, let's learn business. Like, let's do a small investment from all three of us, all go in 1/3 each, and then family's not allowed to be a part of it, and like we learn the business from inside out. And so
I know you're the best decorator in the place. I hear.
I'm the best baker.
Oh, baker.
Bryan Orakpo is the best
Decorator.
Yeah, I bake. You know, the mathematical stuff.
That's
of how much you got to put 1/3, 2/3.
Yeah, you can't mess
whatever.
it up, and you
Can't
are smart, right?
Yeah, so I got to do it that way. Rack, you know, it's kind of impressive that, you know, outside linebacker / defensive
pretty
end.
Big dude can do some dainty decorating.
It's amazing on, you know, how well he can
his creativity
and you know, his touch when it comes to decorating cupcakes. And then Bryan Hynson, you know, he's more part of the corporate world. So, and he's the least intimidating. So, you know,
so he's the business guy.
Yeah, he's the least intimidating guy that when customers want to yell at anybody, they just pick him out of all three. So it works.
He won't tackle them.
Not
so y'all have the one shop.
Bee Caves, yep.
And Bee Caves. And then because of that, sort of a spinoff, y'all had a show.
We had a show, the Cupcake Guys.
And was there one season of that, multiple
One
seasons?
season of that, and then some things, you know, we just got too busy and stuff to continue that going.
But the shop's still going.
Shop is still going strong, especially with us being out there in the community, kids going to the schools in that school district
and
or whatever.
Their kids are there too?
Their kids are there. Okay. Well, Bryan Hynson just recently got married. He has no kids yet.
Okay.
So
but he's in that area?
He's going to be the old, we told him that.
Grandpa at the T-ball games and stuff.
Not even that part. We told him we can't wait to him we go on those family vacations and where we can just send all our kids off. And him and his wife have to go be in the kiddie pool.
Babies,
the little hot pool because it's just all pea water.
Yep, we have one of those. We have a friend like that in our friend group.
So,
and
the family vacations are going to be
having a baby at 40 sounds terrible.
They're going to be okay.
Yeah, well,
got to start somewhere.
That's true. Yeah. But I mean, it just, you know, because you've been through the trenches already.
Yeah, they're going to have like
the
young friends that want to stay out all night.
Yeah.
Do we have a babysitter? Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But then they also said they're going to tell all our kids to babysit
to watch
their
them,
kids,
which will happen, by the way, because my kids do that. So it does happen on those trips.
Kids can't come to my house. They're not messing nothing in my house.
I will. Our new house is not toddler proof at all. And my brother decided at 40 to have 2 kids. So he has a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. And they come to our house and it's basically a death trap. And at any given time, and my brother brings them over hoping that my kids and us will watch them. And then he gets a minute free. And at any given time, we'll find a kid like playing with the weights in the garage.
Oh, I was about to say, any given we see a kid in the water.
No. Luckily, he would like to try, but he can swim, thank God. But no, on Thanksgiving we couldn't find him, and when we did, he was in the garage trying to pick up like 45-pound weights. Ooh. So I mean, at least he was, yeah. So that was fun. So the Cupcake Guys, the show. What else? At one point, you were on the Longhorn Network for a while.
Longhorn Network before they went to SEC.
RIP, right? Yeah, for the Longhorn. So do you have any more plans to be on TV?
Honestly, right now, I am more just
being a dad.
Because my son, you know, he's a junior right now. He has one more year, so
big time for
all
the college
stuff. And then
so
we just got back from New York, where your husband sent me a text message like, "Why are you out there in Marist?" He's like, grew up 15 minutes away from there. Mm-hmm. But doing that.
Yeah, my college, Marist was our rival.
Okay.
In softball.
So it was cold softball games.
Oh my gosh. Some of our games, literally our warm up was meet at the field at 8 a.m. to shovel the snow off because the game starts at 2.
Oh, wow.
And that was April. Yep.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Brutal.
But so yeah, we doing the whole college thing right now with him, and then I guess with ladies after your sophomore year.
Yeah, we're a year earlier.
So that'll be next year. So kind of the Longhorn Network when it basically
the timing was kind of perfect.
It kind of worked out very, very perfectly for myself. So it that's what I'm doing right now. Is that, and then the young one, I'm like a part-time volleyball coach.
Okay.
But with an 8-year-old.
I'm going to need video evidence. Well, we had one of our 12 viewers request that I ask this question. I'll bet you'll know who it is, which is, who is your favorite person to run into when you're at the gym?
Oof.
Because he thinks it's him. My husband thinks it's him. He thinks you're going to. But then I told him, you tell me all the time that you're out there in your dad's shoes playing pickleball with all the grandmas. So I said, it's probably his pickleball partner.
First of all, it ain't my dad's shoes. Tell Kevin that my shoe game is way better than his shoe game. So he needs to stop that. So number 2, me and Kevin just argue all day.
That's right.
That's all we do is argue the whole time.
Us too, and we're married. So
but outside the one time, did he ever tell you about the young lady who said we were creeping her out?
No, I'm sure he left that out.
At the gym?
Oh, man. So me and him are having a conversation.
Right.
And we're just standing by a machine. Like, I just got done using the machine.
Right.
And I stand up, and we're still having a conversation.
Right.
A young lady sits down on the machine and starts doing hip flexor exercises.
Right.
And we're standing right there. So, yes, I get it. It does look creepy. But could you have at least said, excuse me
while I use the machine?
Or are you still using this or something? Don't just plop down right there and then say, can y'all guys move? Y'all are like creeping me out. And I just looked at her.
She was just mad because you weren't actually looking at her.
No, I said so much extracurricular activity stuff that.
Well, good.
Yeah. And then your husband looked at me and was like, I was like, oh, you didn't know I'm half a-hole? Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, again, maybe y'all are like me and him. All we do is argue, and I'm the half a-hole, so he's used to it. It's fine.
I'm used to it.
Yeah. Right.
And
y'all argued this year.
Oh, that one bet that I just gave him a layup.
The one bet. So I warned everyone. First of all, unfortunately for the Longhorns this year, when it came to playoff time, I feel like we kind of started to go like this, and every other team started to go like this, and. So when I booked the flight the day before to go to the ASU game and take my son, we literally were having a New Year's Eve party. And I was like, everybody's got to go at 12:01 because we got a 7 a.m. flight. We're flying into Atlanta. And everyone I know was like, I'm not wasting my money going to Atlanta. We're going to kill ASU. No way they have a shot against us, et cetera, et cetera. Well, anyone who watched the game knows that is not how it went down. It started that way. After the first, quarter, not even 10 minutes, I was like, all right, I guess we'll just go take advantage of the free drinks because we were in the, the level where you get all the food and drink, whatever. And
must be nice.
Well, anyway, when you buy your tickets last minute, you get what you get.
Go ahead.
But anyway, then it was a much closer game than we anticipated. We actually had to, because it went into overtime, we had to push our flight and take the later flight that night, all the things. And I warned everyone we weren't playing as well as we could. And everyone else thought we were going to come out and kill, what was Georgia again? No, Ohio State. Ohio State, sorry. Georgia lost before that. And I knew that was going to be rough. My husband, for anyone who doesn't know, is a diehard his whole entire life. He's a Catholic New Yorker from New York, and the only football that they watch there or like there or care about there is Notre Dame. Because there's no good football in New York, really. Syracuse was good for a minute, and so he's a diehard Irish fan. And in our house, had both of those teams made it to the national championship, we would be divorced right now because somebody would have been pissed, probably me. But you bet that the Longhorns would beat Ohio State and go to the national championship, as you should have as a Longhorn yourself. And he bet against that.
He bet against that, then he chose Notre Dame over, who they had to play, Penn State or something?
Yeah. Right, yeah. Which, that was like a cakewalk, right?
It wasn't no cakewalk.
Notre Dame?
The Notre Dame versus Penn State.
Oh, you picked Penn State.
I picked Penn State.
Yeah.
But I told him that So my thing, okay, Texas, yes, Texas lost, but
here we go.
I mean, we all know it's a game of inches, and it's a game of it's a game of inches, right?
Right.
So we're not acting like
I mean, it's a game of put Arch in and let him run 3 times in a row because nobody's stopping him 3 times in a row. But I'm just saying.
And I say this all the time, and I say this.
But I also
I say this for coaches, right? Because again, when you coach and I coach 7-on-7 team, if it works, you're not having a conversation.
That's right. When you win, everyone's quiet.
When it works, you're the smartest coach ever.
Right.
And when it doesn't work, you should have. It's always easier to say what you should have done after the fact.
Sure.
Now, if he would have did something else, they would have said, what if he did give the ball to Arch 3 or 4 times and he never made it? Then you would have said, "Oh my God, you should have did blah blah blah." You would have said.
I actually said, I respect that he was going to live and die with Quinn. This was his last season. He knew it. He's going to let it ride, and now we're in the Manning era. So I appreciated that. But as a fan who really wanted to win that game, it was like, but Monday morning football was certainly happening.
I would say this about Sark. There's been a lot of bad Texas football for a long time.
I know. I will take what we've had over what we've had.
So what we have going right now
is real good.
Is great.
Yeah.
Because you could be a Cowboy fan.
That's right. Oh, and thank you, Jesus, that my parents raised me appropriately to not be a Cowboy fan.
You could be a Cowboy fan.
That's what I agree.
And you're still living.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Sorry, James.
But you're still talking about things that happened
in 1991.
When I was a kid. Yeah.
Right.
So we that's where we're at right now.
The
first pick of the draft, they chose a guard.
Right.
So you could be a Cowboy fan right now, and
I have always been a proud Longhorn fan, even in those really. I mean, I grew up watching the Makovic era, so that I have to be a loyal fan. And then, you obviously had, in my opinion, one of the greatest coaches of all time at the university.
I used to like Notre Dame, but it was because of the movie Rudy.
Well, right, that's the only reason anyone outside of like 2 states. Like Notre Dame.
It was Rudy like that.
Which allegedly that story is not even all the way true. So
what part is not true? I gotta ask Kevin.
He wouldn't know, but look into it. There's it was Hollywooded up just a little bit.
Why we can't just let Rudy just be Rudy?
I agree.
You just really just crushed my childhood. Well,
there you go. But as a Longhorn fan, I think we have more good things coming for sure.
No question.
And for you, because I know when you get to go back. Right? Like that's the beauty of living in the town where you went to college. We're still very close. We have season baseball tickets as well. And so we're close with a lot of former baseball players. And it's always kind of like when the new coach comes in, you kind of hold your breath because it's like, okay, are they going to let us still have the access we've always had? Are they going to let us? And I know I've talked to a couple of former basketball players. So like when Rick Barnes left, things shifted and changed a little bit and they didn't love some of the coaches that came through. And so did you have that experience ever as a football? I mean, obviously being on the national championship team, you probably are always seen as kind of a favorite in the area. But did you ever feel like you weren't at home with any of those coaches in the interim?
No, I don't think so. Again, it's. I would say for Charlie Strong, it was tough situation. I mean, to replace Mac Brown,
right.
that was tough.
That was a lose-lose.
And so, and I think we all, and I say this all the time.
And he's still at USF, isn't he? Or did he move on?
I'm not for sure. But I will say that, and I say this all the time, especially when it comes to college football. A lot goes into the quarterback position.
Sure.
I think it holds so true from every past national championship winner. It's come down to the quarterback play. And
far more than NFL.
Way more than NFL. Yes. Right. Way more than NFL.
It's kind of like, you can have, it's a team sport, but you can have one athlete.
You can have somebody that could take over. Like what we saw what Saquon Barkley did last year. Even when Jalen Hurts was out for a couple of games, Saquon did some magnificent things. A.J. Brown, you see they have a lot of pieces when it comes to that Eagles team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, the way they play. We've also seen Patrick Mahomes do a lot of great things also. So,
but he has a lot of tools around him.
A lot of tools around him or whatever. But you know, you can kind of see when it comes to the National Football League, that defense. You kind of need that defense
to stop those guys
to really help you out a lot. But when it comes to my opinion, when it comes to college football, I mean, you could just see all the teams in the past that have won. It's like there's a quarterback that's just
doing stuff
unbelievable. Yeah. And so
we didn't have that for a little
we
bit.
didn't have that for a long time. I think they was trying to. I think Sam helped bring a lot of attention back to the University of Texas. The things that he did, carrying his team on his back.
Being local helps too.
But I mean, I tell people all the time, if you gave him just like a little bit more pieces, just a little bit, just one or two more guys, one or two.
How do you think Aaron Rodgers feels right now for the first time ever?
Hey, man.
They get a wide receiver in Green Bay and he's long gone.
Man, that's
Golden's a good one.
I don't know that, but I'm just saying, if you looked at, if you just gave Sam just a little bit more. But again, you can go back to some tough games. Even you go back to that LSU game and Sam in that game. And
that was such a good game.
That quote on who's DBU and all that.
Right.
And both teams hung up 50-some points and like some crazy amount of offense of that game. But when it comes to that quarter, you go with Joe Burrow and you look at what Sam did in that game. And you also go back to that LSU team was in place and Joe Burrow got there and what that did to propel that team to the next level. You look at here at Texas, you know, when Ewers got there and he got the job and he started playing or whatever, you could see how the team started shifting and moving in the right direction. And so that's why I feel like Sark has done a great job of getting the guy to facilitate the rest of the teams to get it moving forward.
Which is allegedly, and I don't know because you're more inside than I am, a big part of why I think he allegedly held off on Manning a little bit too, to get him that respect from everyone else in the room. So that
I tell people all the time though, I think you don't really see what a quarterback really is until year 2, maybe year 3.
Right.
I think that's one of those positions that it's
starting
really
as a
hard.
freshman is
a true freshman to come in and play. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, even when Tim Tebow won his first damn national championship, he still had Chris Leak on the damn bench.
Right.
So it wasn't like
Right.
It wasn't like he just took this team and just took he had a winning football team with a veteran quarterback. He was the guy that came in to run the quarterback sneaking things. So he gets credit for it.
Sure.
But he still had another quarterback that was facilitating the entire offense before that. So but I think Stark's done a phenomenal job, and then he's to me he's running the team like an NFL team. Like the thing that he did this past year was smart in my opinion. Hey, we're not having no spring game. We had a long football season. We need to get healthy.
Yeah.
We need to figure out what we have, what we need when it comes to the transfer portal.
Well, and he understands that culture matters, right? Like that was a huge I saw a clip the other day where he said, there's some schools that'll let you go in the transfer portal and feel it out and see what's going to happen. Not here. You go in the transfer portal, good luck, goodbye. But if you don't believe, and if you're not bought into the culture we're creating, then I don't want you here anyway.
And that's another thing. You look at guys like Tavondre Sweat. You look at those guys, Jade Barron, those guys that were here with Tom Herman that stayed around. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why they stayed. A lot of times when you get a new head coach or whatever, you're quick to jump out and you want to go see what else is out there or something you don't like. But, I mean, you can look at his first year here. I think they won 5 games, and they had an opportunity to go play in a bowl game. He declined and said, the season's over with. Mm-hmm. We need to get back to work. And then Coach Torrey, who's the strength coach, he gets those guys ready. Yeah. The things he does, and just overall the coaching staff.
Like I said, coaching.
You could just see the guys are so much happy. You could just see it. Like I saw some of the guys last night at Jade Barron's draft party. Like you could just see and just hear from their voice and their interactions and stuff, just how excited they are to be at the University of Texas compared in the past.
With Arch, too. Everyone, that's what he said to everyone multiple times is, I've passed up money here, there, and whatever because I want to be here with this team, with this coach.
Now, and the only thing I will say, I beg everybody, take your time with Arch. Don't Don't take your time.
Yeah,
Because
if
again,
one game goes wrong,
I
let's
say
not throw
this.
in the
I
towel.
say this. I seen it over and over again,
Right.
man. And I seen it when I say that. I remember when I first started doing Longhorn Network. I remember they hated Sam. He was gonna turn the ball over in the fourth quarter. That was what that was turnover Sam. And then all of a sudden, Sam is everybody's hero. And I'm like, bro, y'all hated this young man.
It's hard. It is hard to be.
Then Hudson Card
I told you, the Colts. Man,
it's crazy. Then Hudson Card, he had opportunity, right? And everybody hated it. We want Casey Thompson. So now Casey comes in, they don't have the best season. I think they won 5 games, right?
Right.
And then Casey decides to leave. He goes on to, I think, Nebraska or something. And then Ewers is here. And I remember Ewers gets hurt versus Alabama. Oh, my God, season's over with. But Hudson Card comes in slinging that thing. He's 300-plus yards a game. They come up. Did they beat Tech? I think they did beat Tech, or they came up close or whatever. And then they played West Virginia. He's throwing the ball all over the place. Then Ewers comes back versus Oklahoma State, and he has a rough game as Wendy. And everybody's like, oh, my God, we want Hudson Card. I'm like, y'all hated Hudson Card last year. Then
We are very hard to please.
And then piggyback that, Hudson Card transfer. He goes to Purdue, I believe. Malik Murphy comes in for the spring game, throws like a 70-yard bomb to Cook. Oh, my God, Malik Murphy should be starting. And then all of a sudden, Ewers is trash. Malik should be playing. Now Malik gets in the game, and he struggles a little bit when Ewers gets hurt. Where's Ewers at? Now he leaves, and he goes over to Duke and has a phenomenal season.
Right.
And now y'all
Yeah, you
like,
gotta be thick-skinned,
it's like, you're like,
sure.
So now I'm just saying, it's like, just be, I would say, anybody's listening, like,
Be patient.
be patient.
Yeah.
Because it's hard.
Right.
You're playing in front of, I would say, the biggest national
Stage.
crowd
Yeah.
/ fan base that when Texas lose, almost like the Cowboy effect, I apologize. There's a lot of Mondays,
Y'all should be used to
a lot
it
of
at this
Mondays,
point.
y'all
We're
are
not.
upset, or Monday nights going into Tuesday mornings, y'all are mad at everybody.
I walked
but
out of that living room so many times before.
I'm
I
trying,
TV.
but I'm just saying, there's like when Texas does bad, the entire. But I'm telling you, as a young, he already has enough pressure. I would say this. I know he has so much pressure on himself already.
Sure.
He was born into it.
Right.
But at the same time, just be patient. It all works together. And understand that it's a long season or whatever. But again, that's the thing when I look at the quarterbacks that play for Texas. You really know who they are, not year one, but year two. You really figure it out.
I agree for sure. And I think the other side of that we definitely saw with Vince, that I think came with Ewers. I don't think it was there the first year, but and now that I'm seeing him, he was with doing interviews, or was with Gruden last week. By the way, John Gruden's my favorite human on the planet. If I could leave Kevin for anyone, it would be John Gruden. I love him. No, yeah. Sorry, babe.
John,
but well, no, and Kevin knows. Like, I am obsessed. Like, I want to be his best friend more than as much as I wanted to be your best friend in high school. Like, really, I love
like
John Gruden,
but it's okay.
He's the most amazing human. But watching Ewers with him on there is a confidence that we even tell our 10-year-old girls, like, you have to believe you are who you are, or who you're trying to be, or who you want to be, because there's a lot of people out there who don't believe it. So, but if you don't believe it, starting, with you, there's no way anyone else is going to buy into it.
Well, I say this. I mean, playing at the University of Texas, you develop so much confidence. Yeah. It's like,
because like I said, you can walk out and they know who you are. And you're like,
I promise you, there is no crowd, none. Maybe if you play for the Cowboys, but I would say out of the other 31 teams, there is no fan base that's
as diehard.
As diehard as Tech. There's not. There's like literally playing in the NFL was nothing like playing in a national championship game.
I bet. Yeah.
It's just nothing. It's right. Because it's like everywhere you go, you was the most hated team, and when you played at home, good luck to the other team.
That's right.
Like literally, and you see that even now, like being in the stands and stuff, and it's even crazier. I would have loved to play in front of that fan base now, because that's, what is it, like,
well, now they're drinking.
20.
That doesn't help.
I mean, but I'm like, was it 10, 15, 20,000 more people?
Yeah.
And you're just, it's bold in, and now you have these night games and the smoke and the light shows and the,
I was going to say all the.
It's so much that it's like, I can only imagine being on the other team, what it's like coming in there. Yeah. Like, that has to be.
We should try that out. Have like an alumni game and let y'all get to experience, like running out on the field with all the.
No, I might pull a hamstring trying to get out of there.
If you don't pull one in pickleball.
No, you ain't got to do it. I just got to go lateral.
Well, I think that's something that I always saw in you, rather even in high school, was like a confidence, not loud, not cockiness even, just a quiet but very much there confidence. And to your point, especially as the quarterback, you have to be confident in how you're leading that team so that they can be confident in following you and being with you. So,
and I think somebody explained that really well was Sam. Like, when you saw how much
people loved him, his teammates loved him. Yeah,
loved him
because you knew
it was like, because like even Vince, I would say like you just knew. Like, I'm gonna tell you, the most confidence I ever seen anybody was when Vince told us in the huddle, "Just give me the ball back one more time." Mm-hmm. Like, in a national, just give me the ball back one more time.
And then didn't you do that?
No, I was out. I had a neck injury. I was just sitting. I heard it.
So it was before that.
It was right that fourth and whatever play.
Oh, you mean?
He said, we had a timeout. He said, just give me the ball back.
But you got him the ball back.
I didn't give him the ball back. I'm talking about at the end of the game. Oh. That last stop.
The last.
She's still thinking I played Pflugerville. It's okay.
No, that was the early part.
Second quarter was the interception.
I just know my two favorite videos are your interception and him running that fourth and.
But he said, just give me the ball back. Just give me one more opportunity. And I was just like, wow. And when he did it, that was crazy.
Yeah.
So.
There it is. That's you.
You want to see? Watch this. Let me act like I was that. Oh, that was all me. And then
you're like, I caught it.
There's that confidence. Yeah.
At first they didn't think, and then they were running it back. And like,
I asked Matt Liner last year. I said, hey, why'd you just lob it? Why don't you just throw it in there? He said, I ain't fucking see you. I said, oh, okay.
You came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, I went the other way. If you look.
They're going to run it
If
back.
they ever show the replay, I actually started going left before I went right.
And then came back.
I have that saved up in the full clip there.
But
what a catch.
That's a good angle right there. That was my favorite angle.
What a catch. Do we have Vince's? Maybe not. He's not on here. We'll wait for him to be on.
That ref.
Yeah.
Come on, ref. Watch my feet. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
That's what you got to look at. Watch my feet. Look at the ref. Why is he looking at me? Yeah, look at the feet.
He's just like, holy crap, he really just caught the ball.
Yeah.
He's just shocked.
Yeah. That's after the replay.
Vince was at the end. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. He's at where he runs it in. What did he say? He said he wants it one more time.
It was that we had a timeout, and we're on the side, and he tells everybody, just give me the ball back one more time. And literally, he gets the ball back. And rest was history.
Whoops.
I still don't know why he lobbed that ball up. I still don't get that part. I really don't.
He did.
Well, so final thoughts. Any I know you're being a dad right now, but someday, pretty soon, your kids will be grown and gone. Then what does Michael Griffin do with the rest of his time here?
Racing motorcycles.
I see your pictures, and it literally gives me heart palpitations because your head is like this far from the ground sometimes taking those turns, I swear.
It's fun.
I'm sure it is fun until you end up on the cement.
It's only on the track.
So you can't get hurt?
I don't get on the street.
I mean, you could lay your bike down and hurt yourself still a little bit. I mean, I know you've been tackled by very large men.
I push it to the limit so much. Oh, that bike, that's all carbon. If I can't lay that one down.
You can't?
I don't want to.
Oh, right.
It costs a lot.
Cost a lot of money, right.
It costs a lot to lay that down.
So how did you get into this?
Bored.
You were bored. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I should get a motorcycle. I'm bored.
Dude, quick, funny story. Not really funny, but funny. So I told my wife, I'm like, hey, I'm going to go, I'm just going to go my motorcycle license just to get it. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm just bored. I ain't got nothing to do. So I go get a license. And then I buy a bike. But when I get the bike.
Was that a want or a need?
Huh? Oh, that was definitely a want. Definitely a want. Now, funny part about it was, so when you get your motorcycle license, you're like in this little parking lot.
Right.
They didn't tell you like what the real street life was like, right? So when I first get, you hear cars, me, like hitting all those horns and stuff.
Right.
So I had to get the bike all the way home. That was the scariest
drive of your life, probably.
of my life. Yeah. And so that's my old bike. I sold that one.
Okay.
That's an old bike. I sold that one too. Yeah, still. Yeah.
So motorcycle, you still do anything with the dogs? You used to breed. You said you wanted to be a vet, which you weren't a veterinarian.
I just got my pet. I just got my pets. Just
Okay.
my Cash is, what is he, 6 now? I got him in the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
So he's
almost
that's Cash right there.
7 months right there.
That's Cash. So 2020, so he's 5 right now. So yeah, that's Cash. And then I got Penny. And just those two. So
Nice.
yeah.
Done with all the breeding, not anything. Do you ever go back to Nashville?
Yeah, my wife's from there.
I know. So you have family, you go back and see them.
All her family's there.
Do you all have a house there or anything?
No, I wish I would have kept my house.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like so much like Austin now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's really grown a lot. I went last year and the year of Jamie when I was on vacation all
we
the
know
time.
you go everywhere.
Yeah, and sure did have a blast. I rode one of those motorized scooters all around. We had so much fun. It was the year of Jamie.
Jamie just vacation.
Yeah, once a month I went somewhere during the year. It was the year I turned 40. I was very upset about it.
Oh, that's when Kevin said you had the 40. Why were you upset about it?
I've always not been
4?
40, and I was really proud of it. I was really proud to not be 40. All my
you
friends were in their 40s.
You was 39 years of not being 40.
That's
so
right.
What's the problem?
Right.
So, and you only really got to be 40 for 1 year because then you're going to be 41.
I know, and that's creeping up on us too. But
so why is that?
it's fine. It's just, I just said for the last 14 years leading up to last year, I felt like I was always doing something for someone else, right? Like you're a parent, kids, whatever. My kids were grown enough and self-sufficient enough that I felt like I'm going to take this entire year to do whatever the hell I want. And I did. It was great.
So there's
and I was very lucky to
so
be
you don't
married.
live by what I need or what I want. It's
Last year I
want.
did not. Last year it was what do I want and I will do it.
So is that considered selfish?
For a year, yeah, absolutely.
That's 365 days. It was 366 because was that a leap year last year?
No, it was 365. Well, and you would have lost a day. So no, it was 365 days of being very selfish. And I'm very lucky that I had a family that completely. It wasn't until about November that Kevin was like, all right, I'm ready for this to be fucking over. Like, I'm over it. I was like, well, one more trip and then we can be done.
That is so wrong.
Why? Why is that wrong?
This is wrong.
Think of the days that you do stuff just for you across all the years.
When I do that?
I don't know. You don't do anything just for you? You ride motorcycles. What if you got hurt? What would your kids do?
They got a great
setup. I'm sure they're something tells me they're like, Dad, lay that bike down.
Worth more dead than alive.
I'm sure
they'll be great.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Probably my wife has some other man just laid up in the bed. Like, so
Greek
this is how he was living.
Yeah, that's right. That's
right.
So
well, yeah, things so
my family would miss me, but I took 1 year to be selfish, and January 1st popped right back to same old me. Working and taking care of my family.
Was it 365 days of selfishness or just when you went on trips?
Well, yeah, like
all of it,
just things that I had been
She's always been this way.
No. I mean, no, not this much.
That's why she had to get a soft-spoken Kevin.
He's not soft-spoken. Yeah. He's not. You asked about
He's more
coaching.
Of an introvert than you are, though.
That's the coaching part, but outside of that, he just you push him over all the time.
You'd be surprised.
I think
he holds his own.
Maybe you just command the room.
I have been told that is the case often. He actually said, you know what's funny is we're two babies and we married each other, and the problem with that is we're both used to getting our way because we're the babies, and we were spoiled, and so it's taken us. We're almost the end of May we'll be married 18 years, and it's 17 years, and it's taken us only in the last 2 years to actually figure out.
How did y'all meet?
I played softball in college in New York.
Yeah.
And he owned a baseball and softball teaching facility there and was a teacher, like taught hitting. He taught hitting to 4-year-olds and MLB players who would come back. And his best friend from high school who played baseball at my college introduced us. And he told me, go dress cute, walk into the batting cage and shake your butt and tell him you want a lesson. I was like, absolutely not. You're an idiot. And about 10 minutes later, a local phone number called my cell phone. I was like, oh gosh, I know what's happening. And I answered it. And he said, yeah, Blake told me you wanted me to call you. I said, nope, I never said I wanted you to call me. But here we are.
I can't wait to tell
But
Kevin.
yes, I'll marry you.
Here we are. But sure, yeah. Well, so it all worked out.
Kevin, you out here teaching lessons to Jamie?
That's right. I joke. I tell everyone it's true. He raised my batting average 100 points my senior year. So I was like, well, I guess I should go on a date with him. So yeah.
He had to work
About
hard.
nobody's talking.
He had to work hard for that.
That's right. Well, and that was the other thing. I was like, well, hopefully our kids will be good at sports or baseball at least. And here we are.
So he coaches your daughter, and
we both do together.
But he does not coach his son?
We do not coach. So my son, he coached him up until kid pitch. And then my son is the kind of kid that it was like he didn't want to let down coach, but he really didn't want to let down dad. So it was like double hard on him. So we learned pretty quickly he needed to be coached by other people. I will say only in the last 6 to 8 months, he's old enough now and has enough confidence that we don't really have to pay to take him to hitting lessons anymore. Kevin can go take him to hit and he'll actually listen. But it's taken 7 years of getting over that for him to now be able to be coached by dad and understand it's not, I'm not mad at you. I'm trying to teach you. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Some kids can't be coached by their parents. Whereas my daughter, Kevin will yell at her and she'll be like, whatever, dad. And just like yell right back to him.
That's me and Maya.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's us.
She doesn't take it personal at all.
We be ready to kill each other.
Yeah.
We go.
It entertains the rest of our parents and players. If
we
nothing
go
else.
practice anything, and my wife be like, "I'm gonna give them 10 to 15 minutes to come back, yelling at each other, walking through the house."
Yep.
And it never fails.
Yep.
Never fails.
Yep. That's them. They're exactly like him and her, and Walker and I are a lot of like my son and I, and so it's interesting to see the way her and him butt heads, and he gets annoyed. I'm like, it's because y'all are the exact same human being. But okay.
That's me and my daughter.
Yeah.
Both my daughters.
Yeah.
Especially the youngest one. She has way too much confidence.
No, that's good. Don't stifle that. Let her
I'm not
have
stifling
all
it.
that. Yeah.
That's the problem.
Let her have all that confidence.
She go fight anybody.
Because that's good. Because there's enough girls later on in life that will come along and try to shut that down for her. So have all the confidence in the world. You got to like yourself more than anyone else.
So who has a tournament this weekend?
She does. We're leaving for Dallas here shortly. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. High school for him just ended on Tuesday, and then he starts summer ball into May.
Oh, so y'all on the road now.
We will be this summer quite a bit for him.
So no vacations.
Nope. None planned so far.
But
you know me.
You'll sneak
I'll sneak one in there
Tournament
somehow.
Orlando? Is that
I know. Trust me. I try to talk my parents into that for softball all the time. I'm like, surely we want to go play in Orlando. But yeah, no, it'll be a summer full of traveling to small towns like Franklin, Texas. I don't even know where that is, but that's
It's right by Brentwood. It's like right outside of Nashville.
No. Franklin, Texas.
Oh, Texas. I don't know about Tennessee.
Yeah, no.
Franklin, Texas. Ooh.
Yeah, never heard of it. Yeah.
Good luck with that one.
Well, thank you for being here. Appreciate you taking the time. Thank you for letting me be a national champion for about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Sounds about right.
Felt pretty good.
You're always my champion. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, we do appreciate you being here, and welcome back anytime.